All right, what is happening, you guys? Give me a second here. Let me get my Zoom all dialed in, and then we will go ahead and get started. What's up? I'm about to head out of town here in a little bit, but something came up that I wanted to walk through with you guys, and I wanted to walk you guys through a strategy to help you create content using AI that does not suck, right? I'm going to take these out. I want to walk you guys through creating content that doesn't suck using AI. And so how we're going to do that, I'm going to walk you through a prompt that I put into ChatGPT. And I'm going to basically show you kind of what it came up with and how I basically set it all up, right? So the idea here is most of you guys that I see when you create your content and you're posting on social, you're basically going straight for the throat and you're saying like, yo, does anybody want to buy this? Here's my website. I'm not calling anybody out in particular, but I see this all the time, and the content just fucking sucks. It's terrible. Nobody's gonna buy from you like that. If we look at a pyramid of like top to bottom or bottom to top or whatever of people that are actually looking to buy, the very top where people are actually like ready to buy something right this second is gonna be very small. It's gonna be like 1 to 3% of people that see your shit are looking to buy. Right. So out of 1,000, out of 100 people, that's going to be 1 to 3 people, maybe. That's cool to get a sale from. But like, what we want to do is we want to kind of build up demand for specific products or services that you sell. And so I'm going to pull up my Zoom over here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go into the ChatGPT prompt that I put up earlier. Right. So this is not like a fancy prompt. This is just me throwing some shit together, right? So what I did was, first of all, I use the paid version of ChatGPT, so it actually stores data in here from me, and you'll see that it actually included my hometown down here. So it actually still used some of that data, but it didn't use a lot of the other stuff that I gave it. So I'm still okay with it, right? So to create content that doesn't suck, we want to tell a story. We want to get people engaged. We want them excited. We want them to actually read the content. If you just say like, hey, buy my shit, people are going to be like, scroll. Nobody's going to share it. Nobody's going to comment on it. Nobody's going to like it. It's not going to make it very far in the algorithm because that content fucking sucks. It's not exciting. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like when you see people post all the time, that's just like, buy my shit. Here's the link. Buy my shit. Here's the link. You most likely do the exact same thing unless they happen to catch you in like the perfect circumstance where you're like, I need to buy a rifle optic, and you just happen to see the exact one that you're looking for on sale or somebody posts about it. Maybe that works, but 99.9% of the time it's not going to fucking work, right? So let's walk through this. So what I told it is that I said, imagine I'm an FFL dealer who is looking to sell more high-end rifle optics. Write me a short story. 1,000 words really isn't a short story. I realized after I wrote it, I was like, "Well, this is not a super short story, but it's good, right?" Or so about an elk hunting trip gone bad due to not having a high-end optic on a rifle, and how life would be much better if it would have had a better optic on it and the shot was made accurately, right? Again, this isn't super fancy. I'm writing in a way that I would probably write this, right? And that most of you would, right? Without having like this crazy scientific prompt. It's just like ask it to tell you a story and give it the circumstances of the story. I wanted it to tell me a story about an elk hunt that went bad because the rifle optic was shitty and maybe the guy missed or whatever, right? I kind of left that open to interpretation. So I'm going to kind of skim through this. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I'm going to skim through this because I want you guys to see and understand how helpful this is and how this is actually an exciting story versus like, hey, buy my shit, right? So before I do that, if you guys are watching this live, comment live. Super helpful for the algorithm. And then if you guys are watching this down the road on a replay, whether it's YouTube or in the Facebook group, comment replay. Totally helps me out. That's all I ask, right? So check this out. Here's the story that it came up with. So it wrote a short story about an elk hunting trip gone awry. So it starts by telling a story about an autumn air, right? Jake is basically trudging through the Prescott Forest. We do have elk here, but not very many. So if it were me, I would actually change this to somewhere that made more sense where there's more elk, or like make this like mule deer because we have a ton of mule deer. Um, So here it goes. It's starting to talk. It's setting the scene, right? It's talking about his heart pounding with anticipation. He's on an elk hunting expedition, a tradition that he cherished every year. This time, something felt different, right? His trusty rifle was in hand, but it was adorned with an old, worn-out optic that had seen better days. As the first light filtered through the towering ponderosa pines, those are actually the pine trees that we have here, so that's really cool. Sees a bull elk, right? Giant, right? It's telling all, it's giving these exciting details about the story, right? Talking about, this is the prize that he had been waiting for, right? He raises his rifle, looks through it, sees the silhouette of the elk, right? As he took aim, the limitations of his optic became painfully clear. The image was hazy, the reticle was blurry, and he struggled to focus on the elk's vitals. With a deep breath, he squeezed the trigger, hoping for the best. It cracked through the forest, right? Smoke cleared, elk still standing there. He missed, right? His rifle optic was not up to par. It was not sighted in properly. Maybe it lost zero or whatever it is, right? He basically missed out on his chance of a trophy of a lifetime. This is a good fucking story, guys, right? So he lowers his rifle. It walks away, right? He just sat there contemplating what happened, right? He had been so close, yet his outdated optic had failed him when he needed it most. As the day wore on, he couldn't help shake the feeling of regret, right? He thought about it all day. He realized that in his pursuit of saving a few bucks, he had cost himself the one opportunity he had been waiting for his entire life. Oh, that hits hard. I mean, just put yourself in those shoes. Like, that would suck. It would be so terrible, right? So the people that are reading this on the other side that are elk hunters, they're thinking the same shit. They're like, oh my God, imagine how much this would suck if I go out there and like my optic isn't up to par, or like my rifle got wet and it doesn't work for whatever reason, whatever it is that you're trying to sell, right? Put this story in this context in the shoes of whatever you're trying to sell. This example was just me using a rifle optic because um, one of the clients that we had that I was talking to earlier is trying to move some optics right now, right? So that evening, he's around the campfire with his hunting buddies. Basically, they have a conversation and they start talking about, having a high-end optic and how that transformed his hunting experience. The glass is clear, the reticle's tight, the low light performance, you can see everything. Like, it's all comes down to the optic, right? So Jake then basically is bummed out about it, right? That night, lying in his tent, Jake makes a promise to himself. He would invest in a high-end optic that would never let him down again. He knew that this was a missing piece in his hunting gear puzzle. With the right optic, he could make those accurate shots and ensure that his next elk hunt trip would be a success, right? So what happened? He went out and he bought a good optic, got it sighted in, right? Boom. He's out there the next year, right? He returns. This time he spotted a magnificent bull elk in the distance. He's confident. He's got the right shit. His optic is dialed in. Boom. Takes down the bull elk, right? That's what he was looking for, right? As he stood there admiring the magnificent animal, he couldn't help but think about the lessons he had learned. Sometimes investing in the right tools was the key to success. In the world of hunting, having a high-end optic was the difference between a missed opportunity and a triumphant harvest, right? From that day forward, Jake never underestimated the importance of quality optics on his hunts. He shared his story with fellow hunters, emphasizing the value of making the right investment in equipment. As he looked at the impressive bull elk that he now adorned his wall, he knew his decision to upgrade had made all the difference in the world, right? So, guys, this is an exciting story. This is what I'm talking about with content that does not suck. It's super easy. Literally, all I had to do was write this, and it wrote me this whole story. I would literally copy paste this whole fucking story into a Facebook post, or even like tell the story like to your phone, like tell the story, right? Just read it or whatever. You don't have to do that, but like make this story interactive, make it fun, make it enjoyable for people. And at the very end of this, what I would do is I would literally go to your website, grab a link to like some really high end optics or whatever, and like grab yours now at www.yourwebsite.com/optics. Boom. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Like, it's really not that hard. Using something like ChatGPT is super helpful to do that and to help you guys, actually get the right content in place. And it does it all for you guys. I mean, there's really no excuse to have shitty content. Use the tools out there, especially things that are free like ChatGPT, right? You cannot beat the quality of using a story like this to tell a really cool story versus like, here's my website, buy my shit. It's not going to work. Cool. I hope this is valuable to you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be gone all weekend. I'm going to a business mastermind, which I'm really super excited about. Hopefully going to learn some new things that I can apply and help you guys do even better on your end, get better results, things like that. Cool. Let me know in the comments what questions you guys have. Anything that you need help with as far as like this right here. Leave comments. Let me know. If you need help with prompts or anything like that. Right. The goal of all of this is just to help you guys do better and sell more than everybody else out there. Right. Cool. Catch you guys soon. Peace.